Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And this word comfort is the same as the word leads or leadeth in verse 2. But note, it's not, and this is probably why this psalm is read at so many funerals, and it is a good psalm for a funeral, as long as it's taught as the resurrection psalm, not as the death psalm. And I think because of this birth, that you're going through the valley of the shadow of death is the reason that many times it is read or covered at funerals. But it doesn't say that we stop and die in the valley of death. The Word lets us, in what Christ did on the cross for us, lets us walk through the valley of death. We're not going to stop until we get to the other side of that valley of death. I couldn't help but think about, too, Ezekiel chapter 37. And that's where the Lord said to Ezekiel, Son of man, what are these in this valley? And Ezekiel said, Lord, it looks like a bunch of dry bones to me. And the Lord said, can they live? And Ezekiel said, I don't know, Lord, thou knowest. And the Lord said, well, prophesy to them. And of course, those dry bones were symbolic of the spiritually dead in Israel at the time. And how do you bring the spiritually dead back to life? We're shown there in Ezekiel chapter 37. You teach them God's word. You prophesy is what the word means, and it can be translated to teach. And slowly, as Ezekiel began to prophesy or teach God's word to those bones, slowly but surely, the flesh began to come back on them. You know, the old song about the hip bone attached to, connected to the thigh bone, hear the word of the Lord. But that I couldn't help but think about the valley of the shadow of death having those dry bones of the spiritually dead.